Okay, welcome to the deep dive.
We're really glad you're here with us today.
Yeah, so today we're kind of embarking on this journey,
Mm-hmm.
right alongside you,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on what it really means to grow
Yeah.
as individuals.
And also how to build relationships, the kind that genuinely, well, nourish us.
That's right. Think of this as your maybe personal shortcut to understanding how you can consciously shape a life that's filled with purpose.
And connections that really matter.
Exactly.
We're your hosts for this. I'm Bea
And I'm Max.
and I'm a certified life and mindset coach. I've spent years helping people, particularly women who are navigating life's second chapter, helping them break free from what holds them back, really, and step into their power.
And from my side, I'm fascinated by how we connect, like not just with partners, though that's huge, but also with ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all about creating those strong, safe spaces,
Yeah.
Inside and out.
Yeah.
You know that feeling, especially maybe as we've navigated relationships for a few decades now, that sense of searching.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this elusive one or maybe just some missing piece that's going to finally make our connections feel, well, truly satisfying.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a really common feeling, particularly, maybe for folks over 40.
Right. It feels common.
Yeah, there's this pervasive idea almost baked into our culture that lasting happiness in relationships is something you have to find out there, like it's a treasure hunt.
Or that someone else holds the key.
Exactly, that another person is the source of your fulfillment.
But what if?
Yeah.
What if that whole way of looking at it is, well, a bit backwards? What if the actual secret, the real foundation for those deep, lasting relationships we're after actually starts closer? Like right here.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This maybe surprising idea that the most powerful love story, the one that really matters, begins within yourself.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, our mission here really is to explore why constantly looking outside for love can feel like you're just, chasing your tail.
Right, a bit of a trap.
It can be, and how focusing on building that self-love can totally transform your relationships, really at any stage, but maybe especially when we have a bit more life experience.
Okay, so this idea then, love starts with you. Let's get practical. What does that actually look like day to day?
Well, fundamentally, it means love isn't this thing you get from outside, like a reward or something you find.
Okay.
It's an internal feeling. It's more a state of being that actually grows from how you, accept yourself, how you care for yourself, how you respect yourself. Think of it like external love or validation. It can be like one of those funhouse mirrors,
Yeah.
It distorts the picture unless you already have a pretty clear and, importantly, kind image of who you are inside.
That really flips the script on what a lot of us, I think, have been kind of conditioned to believe, right?
It really does.
That our partner, or maybe even close family or friends, are the ones who are supposed to fill that deep well of need or longing we sometimes feel.
Exactly. And look, those external relationships, they are incredibly important. They enrich our lives deeply.
Of course.
But placing the entire weight of your happiness, your fulfillment onto them, that's just, it's shaky ground.
Unstable.
Very. The love you feel from others often ends up being more like a reflection of the love you already hold for yourself.
Oh. So self-love isn't just some fluffy feel-good concept then. It's the actual groundwork, the foundation.
It's absolutely the foundation, the bedrock, especially as we navigate the complexities that come with more life experience. If that inner foundation isn't solid, maybe because of years of self-doubt or just not being very kind to ourselves, it just inevitably colors how you show up, how you interact with the people you care about most.
That makes total sense. If you're constantly battling your own insecurities, it must be really hard to be truly present and secure in a relationship?
Oh, completely. There's a very direct line. How you treat yourself fundamentally sets the standard, often unspoken, for what you deem acceptable from others.
Ah, okay.
So if you consistently ignore your own needs or let your boundaries slide, you might kind of accidentally end up settling for less than you truly deserve.
Okay, so if we're constantly looking outward, scanning the horizon for that connection, why is that search ultimately, as you put it, kind of a dead end?
Because those external things, a new relationship, yeah, but also maybe hitting a career goal or getting likes on social media, They tend to offer only temporary boosts,
Yeah.
fleeting highs.
Mm.
They don't really address that deeper, more fundamental need for internal validation, for a sense of self-acceptance that actually lasts. It's like constantly needing the next hit of excitement.
Like a sugar rush for the soul, maybe. Feels good for a second, but then...
Exactly like that. And relying on those external things, it creates a really fragile sense of well-being, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Your happiness becomes dependent on things, on people outside your control. And that, well, as many of us probably know firsthand, often leads to disappointment.
And I guess that ties into what you said earlier about the trap of expectations we fall into.
Precisely. If you enter a relationship carrying this unspoken belief that, okay, this person is now responsible for my joy, or they need to fix this broken part of me, that's just an immense and frankly unfair pressure to put on anyone. It's a setup that rarely works out well for either person long term.
So the real shift, the sustainable shift, is making self-love the core, the solid ground, especially as we look to build, really meaningful connections later in life.
Yes, that's it. When self-love is your stable base, you can receive love from others as this wonderful, beautiful addition to your already full life.
An addition, not the source.
Exactly. Not as the only thing that defines your worth. It completely changes the whole dynamic.
Okay, so if love starts with us, it seems like it really boils down to this idea of self-concept. Can we, dig into that a bit more? What is self-concept?
Yeah, absolutely. Think of your self-concept as your internal operating system, or maybe like your personal resume you carry around in your head.
Okay.
It's the collection of beliefs you hold about yourself, your value, your abilities, what boundaries you need, what you think you're capable of, your potential. It's your inner story about who you are.
So working on our self-concept means getting to know that inner story better, especially the parts we might not like so much.
Precisely that. It means really understanding your core values, what genuinely brings you joy, what fills you up, and importantly, what you truly deserve in life, and yes, in your relationships.
Right.
A healthy self-concept, it's like a powerful engine for self-love. It builds this inner resilience so you're not constantly needing that stamp of approval from outside.
It sounds crucial, but where do you even begin? Working on something like self-concept can feel a bit big, a bit vague.
It can feel that way at first, definitely,
Yeah.
but it actually involves some pretty concrete steps. The very first one is just becoming aware of the beliefs you already hold about yourself.
Like tuning into our own internal radio station.
Exactly. Listening to that inner dialogue, especially noticing those critical negative thoughts that tend to pop up. You know the ones.
Oh, yeah.
Journaling can be incredibly helpful here. Seriously, just write down those thoughts when you catch them. And then start to gently question them. Like, where did this belief even come from? Is it actually based on reality now, or is it maybe an echo from the past, something someone else said years ago?
And then what? Just argue with ourselves on paper.
Well, kind of. You challenge the validity. Ask yourself, okay, where's the hard evidence for this negative belief? Often, there isn't much solid proof.
Right.
And then you consciously, deliberately start to reframe them. Turn those negative thoughts into positive affirmations, statements that actually reinforce your worth. It might feel a bit unnatural at first,
I can imagine.
but doing it consistently really starts to rewire those old pathways.
Okay, so identify the negative chatter, question it, and consciously flip the script internally.
Yeah.
Got it. What's the next piece, then, for building this healthier self-concept?
The next vital step is self-acceptance. And this is really about embracing yourself fully, flaws, quirks, everything, no matter where you happen to be on your life journey right now.
But that doesn't mean we just, stop trying to grow or improve, does it? Especially as we get older, we're still learning.
Not at all. That's a key distinction. Self-acceptance isn't about stagnation or settling. It's about recognizing your inherent worthiness in this moment.
Right, no.
It's acknowledging that you are enough just as you are right now. And actually accepting yourself this way, it frees up a ton of energy that might have been wasted on self-criticism. It creates a much more supportive inner space for genuine growth to happen rather than growth driven by self-rejection.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're not constantly fighting yourself, you actually have energy left to move forward positively.
Exactly. And the third key area for nurturing that healthy self-concept, establishing clear, healthy boundaries.
Boundaries, okay. That word comes up so much when we talk about healthy relationships, doesn't it?
And for very good reason. Healthy boundaries are absolutely fundamental, foundational, not just for relationships with others, but crucially for the relationship you have with yourself.
No.
It's about knowing what you are and are not willing to accept. In terms of how others treat you, yes, but also how you spend your own time and energy, how you protect your emotional well-being.
And how do these, like, personal boundaries we set for ourselves connect to how we interact with others, particularly in our maybe more established long-term relationships?
Well, the boundaries you set internally, they directly inform what you communicate and what you're willing to uphold externally.
Oh, okay.
If you have strong personal boundaries, like you respect your own need for rest or you don't overcommit yourself, you're much more likely to express your needs and limits clearly and confidently to others.
It signals self-respect.
Absolutely. Boundaries are a powerful way of saying my needs matter, my well-being matters. It demonstrates self-respect, which in turn naturally encourages respect from the people around you.
Okay, so we've talked about recognizing beliefs, self-acceptance, setting boundaries.
Yeah.
How do we actually make that shift from constantly looking out there for love to really cultivating it inside? It sounds easier said than done.
Oh, it definitely is a process. It's important to acknowledge that up front. Shifting away from that external search pattern, especially if it's been a habit for years, can feel challenging. It's often deeply ingrained.
Yeah.
But the key thing is, as you start to recognize and really nurture that love within you, your whole perspective, your whole way of seeing relationships and yourself begins to change. It really does transform.
So what are some practical first steps? How do we begin making that internal shift happen?
The very first step is cultivating a deeper awareness of your own emotions. Just understanding what you're feeling and noticing how those feelings influence your choices, your actions.
Yeah.
That's foundational.
So paying more attention internally.
Yes. And specifically, when you feel that familiar pang of insecurity or that urge to, look for validation outside yourself, try to make a conscious effort to turn inward first before reaching out.
Okay, so pause.
Yeah.
Don't immediately reach for the phone or look for reassurance elsewhere.
Exactly. Pause. Practice a little self-reflection. Ask yourself, okay, what am I really feeling right now? What might be triggering this? What deeper need am I trying to meet by seeking this external thing? That kind of quiet internal inquiry can reveal so much about your patterns and maybe unmet needs that are driving the bus.
That sounds like it takes some real honesty with yourself.
It does, and it's incredibly empowering once you start. The second step is to actively, intentionally open yourself to self-love through consistent daily practices.
Okay, daily practices, we're talking big grand gestures or...
Usually not, actually. It's often the small, consistent acts of kindness and self-care that build up and make the most profound difference over time.
Like what, for example?
Simple things, really, like consciously speaking to yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a good friend who's struggling.
That's a good one.
Prioritizing activities that genuinely nourish you, mind, body, spirit, whatever that looks like for you. And taking a moment regularly to acknowledge your successes, your efforts, no matter how small they seem.
So basically, becoming our own cheerleader, our own best supporter.
That's a great way to put it. Exactly. And as you consistently show yourself that love and compassion, you'll just naturally find it starts to positively influence how you interact with everyone else. Love becomes less of this thing you're desperately trying to get and more of a natural overflow from a place of inner security.
Okay, that makes sense. And what's the third piece, then, in making this internal shift?
It's about nurturing your passions and actively pursuing your own personal goals, things that excite you.
Getting busy with our own lives.
In a fulfilling way, yes. When your focus shifts towards your own growth, your own interests, what genuinely lights you up, love often becomes this natural, sometimes unexpected byproduct.
Not the main focus anymore.
Right. It's not the sole objective. Engaging in things you're passionate about doesn't just bring you joy and fulfillment, it also tends to naturally attract people who resonate with your authentic energy, who respect your passion and your path.
It sounds like when we're busy building a life we genuinely love living, the right connections kind of find their way in more organically.
That's often how it works, yes. Now, thinking about putting in this work, cultivating self-love, what are some of the real, tangible benefits we can expect? Especially, as we navigate relationships, maybe in our 40s, 50s, and beyond.
Well, I'm guessing healthier relationships got to be right up there at the top.
Absolutely. That's probably the most significant one. When you love and accept yourself, you're just not operating from that place of neediness or heavy dependence in your relationships anymore. And that allows you to create connections that are genuinely authentic, healthy, based on mutual respect, clear communication, real affection.
And I imagine that constant nagging feeling of needing external validation starts to fade away too.
Exactly. You develop this deeper, much more stable sense of internal fulfillment, that relentless need for someone else to tell you you're okay, that you're worthy. It just diminishes. Your sense of self isn't so easily buffeted around by what other people think or do.
That sounds incredibly freeing,
Yeah.
especially as we get older and hopefully more grounded in who we are anyway.
It absolutely is freedom. When you detach your inherent worth from outside sources, it really grants you the freedom to design a life you genuinely love, one that aligns with your values, your desires, not one based on constantly seeking approval.
So bringing this all together then, this whole deep dive, it really hammers home that love isn't some prize to be won out there.
That's exactly right. The core message, truly, is that love begins within you. It's not just a nice saying on a coffee mug.
Yeah.
It's a profound truth, and it has ripple effects on absolutely every part of your life, but especially your relationships.
And if we're aiming for those really meaningful, authentic connections, which I think most of us are, especially with the wisdom and experience we gain over time, the starting point is always ourselves.
Precisely. Learning to genuinely love yourself isn't selfish. It's actually the most powerful, most stable foundation you can possibly build. It helps you attract the kind of love you truly deserve, and it helps you nurture fulfilling, lasting connections with others.
So the real work, the important work, is dedicating that time, that energy, to understanding ourselves better, our feelings, our needs, our boundaries, so that love becomes less of a frantic chase and more of just a natural state, a way of being within ourselves and then flowing into our relationships.
You got it. Take that step inward. You can stop the endless external search. Honestly, the love you've been seeking, it's been right there within you all along.
That's a powerful thought to end on. And listen, if you feel ready to maybe take that next step on your own relationship journey, we actually have a resource that might help guide you. We've put together a free quiz. It's designed to help you pinpoint some key areas for your own growth and maybe reveal what that first step could look like towards creating fuller, more satisfying relationships.
Oh, that sounds useful.
Yeah, we think so. You can find the link to that free quiz right there in the description below this deep dive. Give it a try.
Okay, so welcome back. We've spent some time today digging into this whole idea of a personal revolution.
Yeah, and it's maybe not what you first think.
Right.
Not some huge overnight thing.
Exactly. It's more about seeing growth, seeing change as just constant, always happening, a part of life.
And look, if you're listening to this, chances are you're already, on some kind of path.
You're probably aiming for something, or maybe just trying to figure things out a bit more.
Or even just wanting like a bit more meaning day to day.
Yeah.
It all counts.
So, yeah, as we kind of wrap things up here, the big thing to hold on to, I think, is that this process, this personal revolution stuff we talked about,
It doesn't really stop.
it really does it. Every single day kind of throws up new angles, new opportunities to learn something or shift a little.
For sure. And if anything we discussed today kind of clicked for you.
Sparked an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe made you want to actually do something, then, run with it. Keep that feeling going.
Absolutely. And hey, if you are looking for like more regular nudges or practical thoughts on this,
Keeping that growth going.
yeah, keeping it going. We genuinely love it if you subscribed, follow along.
That way you won't miss out when we explore other stuff too. And honestly, we really do appreciate it when you share these chats or leave a review.
Oh, definitely. It seriously helps other people find this, people who might get something out of it too.
Plus your feedback. Always good to hear what lands.
Totally. Now, okay, if you're feeling like taking maybe a more focused step.
Like something specific.
Yeah, particularly around, say, understanding your relationships a bit better. We actually have a free quiz for that.
Right. The quiz, the link's in the description for this deep dive, right?
Yep, right there in the description.
And it's pretty quick, yeah. It's designed to maybe just help you spot some of the patterns.
The underlying stuff, yeah, and how you connect with people.
Right. And maybe show you where even like tiny shifts could actually make a real difference.
It's amazing sometimes, isn't it? Just pausing for that kind of reflection can suddenly light up things you just hadn't seen before. It's all part of that revolution we're talking about.
It is. So, yeah, don't hesitate. Go check out the quiz if that sounds useful.
The link's right there for you.
And just remember, this whole journey, this personal growth path, your personal revolution, it's happening inside you.
Every day.
Every single day. It unfolds from within.
Well said. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.